Hello, I'm EnterElysium and welcome back to World War K. So we're 2 for 2 so far. We have 2 successful missions and 2 failures. But we've received a radar contact on the surface of the water just out from the KSC. So we've sent a drone to investigate. And it looks like it's a MechJeb Battleship. I think we need to get closer. I need to see exactly what this thing has on board, but it looks large. Yeah, it looks like it's got a lot of guns. Let's get a bit of a closer look and have an investigation. So this will be MechJeb scaling up the sea combat since we sent our destroyer out last time. Wow, that is a Phalanx anti-air system, 3 120mm and multiple howitzers. That thing is packing some serious firepower. Let's try and get a bit of a closer view, and then we'll have to come up with something to be able to take it down. If that thing gets near the KSC, it could level everything. Everything. Our destroyer would be no match for it. Our destroyer is outgunned massively by that thing. So, we need to come up with some sort of solution to take it down. So, let's just get a little bit closer. There we are. There it is. Come on. We're going a bit fast, so it can be hard to maneuver. I'm trying to go fast. I'm trying to, just in case it starts engaging us. Just going to try and get a nice low pass. There we go. So you can see it's got a number of guns, and it looks like it's got some anti-air systems. It looks like it's also got an anti-missile laser. Oh! Well, we need to take this thing down. So, it's a battleship, and I thought that, the best way to take out a battleship would be to use an aircraft carrier, because that means I can talk about a number of different things. So, aircraft carriers, pretty amazing things. I mean, they really came about particularly in the Second World War, but they were used in the First World War a little bit. Mainly, basically, small fighters launched from, etc., not able to land on them. But the first actual aircraft carrier as such, one that could launch a fighter and recover it, I believe was American. But the British did the first one that could actually launch and recover while underway. Then, the first actual airstrike from a carrier would be Japan. And then everyone's going to go, oh, so you're going to talk about the first, big air battle, the first time that, aircraft were used and it had a massive impact on Navy forces and proved that aircraft carriers were here to stay, and you're going to talk about Pearl Harbor. I'm actually not. I'm not going to talk about Pearl Harbor. I'm also going to mention the fact that we're designing this with a very large flat deck so we can land on it and take off. It's going to be a very large aircraft carrier. It's going to be tough to turn, it's going to be tough to move, but hey, it's going to be good. It's not designed, by the way, to take any impacts. This thing is mainly designed to launch aircraft. If it gets shot at, it probably will not be anywhere near as strong as possibly the battleship, and probably definitely our last destroyer. Our last destroyer was designed to take one hell of a beating, and it really did. This thing, on the other hand, is it's a bit more flimsy. It is designed to be pretty square in its design. It won't really deflect or dodge any shots. It's not going to be particularly low in the water either, that has to be noted, so it's going to be a bigger target, of course. So we're just going to put our butting around the side, and then we'll get to work on the insides. Now, I'm actually not going to talk about Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor, of course, big, aircraft engagement against Navy forces. 6 aircraft carriers, I think it was 6 aircraft carriers, used to destroy the American Navy at Pearl Harbor. I'm not going to talk about that, because that wasn't the first actual strike where aircraft proved their worth. The Japanese got that idea from a battle called Taranto. So, I think it was called Taranto. Taranto was a battle where the British Navy, HMS Illustrious, launched ferry swordfish fighters, which were torpedo bombers. And these ferry swordfish were very outmoded. We're talking like, this was 1940, and these fighters were, decent in 1918. So we're talking 22 years out of date. By the way, these fuel tanks off to the side so that people can go up to and refuel from them, so we can use Kerbal Space System's little pipe to be able to get fuel in. In the Battle of Taranto, the HMS Illustrious launched a load of ferry swordfish class bombers with the intention of going to the port at Taranto and destroying as much as possible of the Italian Navy. And this was one aircraft carrier launching some very obsolete aircraft, and they succeeded in destroying or disabling 3 battleships for the cost of 2 torpedo bombers. And you just got to think about that in terms of, this was the first time this has ever been really done, and just think about the amount of logistical change you have to put in to make account for 3 battleships as opposed to 2 torpedo bombs, the amount of, human life lost, or the amount of industrial effort needed to make 3 more battleships as opposed to 2 torpedo bombers. This is staggering. I mean, it's something that hadn't really been done before. Such a commitment of force overwhelmingly happening in one direction. It really kind of revolutionized a lot of thinking, and the Japanese Navy actually took a lot of notes off of that battle, and they actually, sent some advisors over there, and they got, opinions, etc., and they really based a lot of their future changes off of that. So we're just going to put the conning tower on, by the way, put it on the side here, as per usual. It's not the conning tower, I think it's called the tower, isn't it? It's not the conning tower. And I'm kind of not looking at how that looks. I think we'll put it on some sort of outward jutting bit. We'll also put the phalanx missile system on. But here is the final design. I didn't want to go through the whole process of putting these side bits on. What we have is one gun, so we can actually defend ourselves, and we actually have one phalanx system as well. It doesn't really face backwards, so we actually have a laser system as well that should be able to take down any incoming missiles. This thing is pretty damn large. I've used tweaks to be able to make the panels larger. So this thing should be able to take maybe, if you really crush them up, possibly 6 aircraft. I'm going to aim for 4. So you're probably asking, okay, so we've made an aircraft carrier, it's got, a lot of engines strapped to it, it should be able to go reasonable speed, etc. But now we're going to have to create some aircraft. Now I was like, yeah, we're going to create some aircraft. What type of aircraft? Well, you'll see. And I don't want to go through the process of making the aircraft, so we've already made an aircraft carrier, so I'm going to take you straight to the aircraft. And I think you'll be in for a bit of a treat. This is our aircraft. As you can see, we've gone for I think it's a pretty badass design. We're using some QuizTech Mark III parts. I think it's called QuizTech. This model allows you to have a VTOL inline engine. So that middle section there, it's not a fuel tank. It's actually got an engine facing downwards. This is going to be a VTOL aircraft. We've also got a lovely B9 engine on the back. It's equipped with four air-to-ground missiles, 2 missile pods, a Gatling cannon underneath the aircraft body that can be independently targeted, and some jet thrusters that should allow us to do some vector thrust, etc., shimmy sideways, control our roll a bit better, and those are mainly there to work with something very special, something I really love, burned together. So let's give her a try. So we're going to pop open the QuizTech part, and you see there's a lovely engine inside of there. So the aircraft carrier we've got isn't really a standard aircraft carrier by the designation of, what the American Navy have. The American Navy have CATO-bar aircraft carriers, which are catapult-assisted takeoff. Is it catapult-assisted takeoff? Yes, CATO-bar, but assisted recovery. CATO-bar. So they fling aircraft out, and then they assist the recovery by basically aircraft landing, get caught on this wire, and that slows them down. We've actually gone for a VTOL design. The aircraft carrier we've got is capable of something that a lot more other navies use. So I think the Indian Navy and the Spanish and Italian navies use it, which is STOVL, which is short takeoff, vertical landing. So we have to vertically land on our aircraft carrier because I don't think there's any way we can slow down in time. But we can do a short takeoff. There is a ski ramp at the front, which should give us some fling ability, so we should be able to go straight up in the air after the top of it. So I'm just going to speed up and get to the aircraft carrier. The downside with STOVL is you'd have a short takeoff, and yes, most aircraft could probably do a vertical takeoff, like the Harrier, the Lightning. I've overshot, turn around. The Lightning, of course, 35, can do a vertical takeoff, but you don't really want to do that because it would require them to be not, fully fueled, and probably not to have much ordnance on them. So most of those aircraft don't do vertical takeoffs when they're going out for missions. They tend to do a short takeoff, so they use their vector thrust to kind of lighten the load, and then they just run off the front of the ramp and take off. In effect, looks like normally. Alright, so let's set her down. The one thing I'm concerned about here is we don't hopefully warp, we don't hit too fast, we don't have some issues. I mean, we are landing on another object on the sea. KSP can be a bit twitchy about this. This isn't the smallest plane available, by the way, so we are actually, it's a fairly large plane. We're talking Mark II parts, but it does have some serious firepower on board. I decided to go more towards the sort of the American Tomcat design, without the folding wings, of course. And try and get, it's a bit of a bigger craft. Oh, it's not twin engine. So let's just turn her around, try and get her facing forward. So we've got a lovely takeoff position. Come on, come on. And I'm going to skip putting all the other aircraft down because you don't really need to see me land another 3 aircraft. Suffice to say, it works kind of beautifully. And here it is. All 4 aircraft down. It's a sight to behold. It is one hell of a lovely sight seeing 4 aircraft on our little aircraft carrier. Beautiful. Oh, those ones on the starboard side are maybe a little bit too far over, maybe. I get a bit concerned they're going to fall into the water, and we'll get underway. Now, you notice I've taken the front gears down. That's to prevent the aircraft taking off. We're actually going fast enough for the aircraft to start taking off naturally. And we're actually travelling about centimetres per second, so I think we're successful. I think we're ready to take on the battleship, but it looks like the battleship is actually coming to us. Now, it looks like the battleship is trying to engage us before we can have a chance to really take off. It has to be noted, at this stage, the battleship only has one of its 3 laser point defense systems working, so this is probably our best chance to attack it. And I think that's the reason we should definitely go for our air warfare. Okay, it's going to standoff range, so it's about, I think it's about 16 kilometers away at the moment. So probably not really effective range for its guns, although it has been noted in the Second World War, 16 kilometers would be well within range for guns, but this is of course KSP. Let's take off then and start to engage it. So I'm going to say something that's maybe a bit more controversial about aircraft carriers, and I'm going to say that aircraft carriers, perhaps in modern warfare, I mean modern conventional industrial warfare, you know, America versus another America-sized power, maybe aren't as powerful as you'd imagine, because they are very large, very expensive, very large, very expensive. I really have to emphasize that they're by far the largest seaborne target, and by far the most expensive seaborne target, carrying a number of very expensive aircraft. You have to deploy them in carrier groups to defend them, and even then, if they get hit, which, you know, in modern warfare with guided missiles, etc., is quite possible against another power with, you know, the same sort of ability to field the same sort of, you know, missiles, etc., they're easy to sink. And easy to, you know, critically damage. And any, you know, real damage. Oh, beautiful. Burn Together, by the way. Burn Together is an amazing mod. Allows you to really get, you know, multiple ships following your ship, following your commands. And we've got all of our 4 aircraft going up. Beautiful. But it looks like they're about to engage us. They are firing their cruise missiles. We have to hope that our phalanx point defense system works. It's firing directly ahead of us, so we should have that, you know, on board. And we also have a laser point defense system work as well, so that should work. These cruise missiles are coming down and heading towards us. This is going to really point out how expensive and how, you know, important carriers are. That, you know, guided missiles can, you know, be quite a threat to them. And any hit can, you know, severely disrupt their ability to... Yes, we got a hit, and the rest are coming in. Oh, no! 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 Oh! No! Oh, there goes the carrier. There goes the carrier. That is one hell of an expensive piece of kit. Yeah. Destroyed the front end. I think the fact that they came in above the deck prevented the front armor from really doing anything. The fact they came from above the deck meant that the explosion just ripped apart the spine of the ship, and we were going with the spine of the ship design for this one. So, our valiant pilots, Red Wing, continue on. We're going to take out the battleship and avenge our aircraft carrier. But that just proves how, you know, in modern warfare with guided missiles, aircraft carriers are incredibly vulnerable. However, in asymmetrical warfare against, you know, a less developed power, one without the same sort of guided missile, you know, or you know, countermeasures, etc., or electronic jamming measures, they can actually be, you know, particularly useful. And I think the main use of aircraft carriers has to be in asymmetrical warfare. That is, I think, where they excel.
We have entered the engagement zone. Red 2 is taking hits. Red 2 is taking hits. We have entered. Red 2 is down. Red 2 is down. I am taking hits. Firing missiles. Missiles away. Firing missiles again. Other one, fire at will. Enemy ship is engaging our missiles. Oh, Red 3 is down. Red 3 is taking hits. We are engaging. Enemy ship is taking down our missiles. Enemy ship is down. Direct hit. Enemy ship is destroyed.
Okay, so it looks like we managed to defeat the battleship there. The MechJeb Battleship is gone. We've only got 2 of our aircraft left. No aircraft carrier. I kind of think that one comes down as a draw. I don't know how we managed to defeat it there. It looks like maybe one of the missiles got past the missile defenses and actually managed to score a direct hit, and that caused some interestingness. It looks like the parts are underwater. Definitely one hell of an explosion. Must have hit the ammunition store or something. That was a particular problem with, you know, World War II battleships, World War I battleships. But I think we can say this was a pretty successful run. I think that, you know, while we may have lost to the cruise missiles, and I must point out that our phalanx point defense system was firing a little bit down and to the left of them when they were coming in. I'm going to blame the gunners or whoever programmed the computer. Despite that, and the fact that I don't think we're going to be able to particularly defend against the cruise missiles very much, I think we did fairly well. And I do love these... Oh, Burned together doesn't look like it can really compensate for vertical flight. Bye, Red. What were you, Red 4? Bye, Red 4. Are you still alive? I think the pilots are still alive. So I'm going to call that a draw. I've been EnterElysium. If you've enjoyed World War K, and this episode in particular, then like and not subscribed. Well, you want to see more, continue subscribing. But until next time, stay shiny. So, let's just inspect the debris. I think we should look around, see if there's any technology we've gained. Oh, there's a load of turrets have survived. Let's destroy them. Oh, forgot missiles explode underwater. Still counts as a draw.